Ready to make Colorado home? Here's your short list of things to know before moving to Colorado. Hey everybody, it's Alyson Wahl with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. If it's your first time here, welcome. We have a free South Denver relocation guide for you down in the description box below. So before you leave, make sure you go down there and grab that. All right, things to know before moving to Denver. Let's talk weather off the bat. I find there's lots of misconceptions and definitely a lot of curiosities. It doesn't snow here from October to May, but it can snow here anytime during those months. And on a whim, it could snow in September and it might snow after May as well. When it does snow here, the snow is usually in and out in one day. That's it. Yes, occasionally we get bigger storms. We get those dumps, a blizzard. We have, of course, had record snows, 3 feet, the massive ones, but that's not normal here. Once the storm blows out, the sun is shining, it's usually 40, there's no wind, it's warm, it's glorious, the roads melt off, it's safe driving, it's really great. We aren't driving on ice all winter long like a lot of northeast states are, so it's pretty dreamy here, really. It's not cold here all winter long either. Typically, January is our coldest month of the year. I'm recording this in January, and January 2022, we've spent most of the month in the 50s. So there you go. It's been pretty darn nice. So what are the days no one likes? No one likes to drive in the snow, especially when it's really blowing in. So heavy blowing snow, thick wet snow, when the plows haven't come through. Of course, no one really enjoys that. It seems the first snow of the year, nearly everyone has forgotten how to drive in it, so it's never the best one to be out on the roads. The other weather that none of us like is when it's damp, cloudy, and windy. It's biting chill. The wind here can be pretty ferocious. We do get hurricane force winds at times. We call them the Chinook winds. When they're really intense, you'll hear it referred to as a derecho. They can cause some damage. Downed trees, downed power lines, blowing trampolines, the game of where's my garbage can? Neighbors are swapping cans, trying to find them. So the wind does wreak some havoc, and not only on property, but on most people's moods. No one likes the wind. What about summer? Yep, it does get hot here. We hit the hundreds. Nearly every summer, we're gonna have a few days in the hundreds. Some summers are worse than others. The plus we have going for us is, yes, it is a dry heat. You can check out this video for more on weather here in the Denver area. Now, talking about dry heat takes us into number 2, natural disasters. Colorado is considered one of the states with the least natural disasters, one of the safest places to live. I mean, obviously, we don't have hurricanes. We're pretty low on the risk radar for earthquakes. Tornadoes, we do get them. They're usually off on the very edge of the eastern plains as it's heading over to Kansas and Nebraska. Fewer people live there, so we're really not seeing much in the way of loss of life, loss of property. So here in the Denver metro area, tornadoes are not a huge risk for us. What Colorado on the whole can see more of are wildfires. That's thanks to the fact that we pretty much are a desert state, and as we see fewer and fewer of those really big snowstorms, keeping things wet and green and fresh, that ramps up the risk more and more. In fact, 15 of the largest fires in Colorado history have been since 2012. 4 of the 5 biggest have been in the last 5 years, and 3 of the state's largest fires in history were just in 2020. And then for those of you that were watching the news, hard to miss, many of our neighbors, over 1,000 homes, burned in the Boulder area from a fire that started in open space. This in our area was unheard of, had never happened like this before, where something that was in a residential suburban area just burned along with all the wind that caused this fire to spread like it did and take out so many homes. If you're curious to know more about wildfire risk, what we call wildfire urban interface, you can check out this video right here. So our fire history is why locals don't complain about the snow, or if they complain, they follow it up with, well, I know we need it. It's so true. We really do need all the moisture we can get. So let's talk again about snow and what to do if you don't like the idea of shoveling it. Really, none of us do. So your options are, get a snow blower, which still requires some work. You have to maintain that thing. They always seem to break at the wrong time. You could always hire a service, but that's like adding an extra HOA bill each month during the winter season. Or you could just buy wisely. So if you don't like the idea of shoveling, buy a home that has a south-facing or west-facing driveway. You will cut down on your need to shovel snow dramatically. I'm talking you might go an entire winter season without having to shovel if we don't get a major snowstorm. Really, the sun does wonders here. It's not unless we're getting a larger storm, say 6 inches or more, a multi-day storm, or cloudy weather that's lingering, that you would need to consider getting out there with your shovel and mitigating what you've got on your sidewalk and your driveway if you're facing south, southwest, or west for the most part. Now, on the flip side, you're facing north, northeast, or east, or you have a corner lot where you don't have all sides of what you have to maintain facing south or west, then you're gonna have to get out and do some work. So in a market as tight as we have now, beggars, aka buyers, don't really have the luxury of being choosers. But if you see a couple of houses that you have options for, your budget's allowing you the time and leverage to make some choices, or you're building a home and you get to choose the lot, if the snow removal piece really doesn't land well with you, think about which direction your driveway is facing. All right, moving on from all this weather-related talk. Tip number 4, crazy drivers and traffic. Statistically speaking, the drivers here are crazy. Our insurance rates tell us so. We really pay quite a lot for insurance here. And that data is backed up by many of my clients that move here. They have told me, even coming from cities like Chicago, that they can't believe what it's like driving in Denver. Now, for me, having moved here in my 20s and from the South, I think that the pace of driving here is just right. I'm not a slow driver. I don't like slow pace of driving. I have been back to the South and that pace does not gel with me. So Denver's just my speed. But for others, it's a little crazy and not what they're looking for. And traffic here has picked back up to pre-pandemic levels. And when it's surveyed nationally, we are ranked about 15th worst in the country. Wahl gave us a better ranking than cities like Philly, San Fran, Washington, DC, Baltimore area, Seattle, LA, New York, all cities we would expect that Denver would be better than. But Wahl said Boston, Houston, Miami, and Atlanta all ranked better than Denver for traffic. All my clients from those cities completely disagree. And having been to those cities, I would say Denver's not nearly as bad in traffic. So I'm not sure what all criteria they were using when they ranked these. The locals certainly do complain about our traffic, but many locals in cities all across the country complain about change. I will say, if you're trying to find which end of the city to live on for better flow of traffic, the south end seems to have a little less traffic than the north end. A plus to the north side is it has a toll lane all the way in and out of the city. The south end does not. So if you're going to choose to use the toll lane and pay to get in and out of Denver, if you're commuting to downtown, you may fare better timing wise to get back home. If you don't plan to use a toll lane every single day, but you plan to work downtown, you might fare better timing wise living on the south side. There you go on the traffic front. Number 5 on things to know about Colorado: when our people aren't at work, they are at play. That's probably why you're looking to move here, so maybe this one's a bit of a no-brainer. But Colorado and Coloradans are consistently ranked as the most active and most fit people and state across the US. Whether it's fishing, camping, stand-up paddleboarding, running, hiking, yoga, rock climbing, skiing, you name it, it's popular. I have clients who just moved here and they're already off each month on a mini little road trip. I have some who got here and they're already looking to get land for themselves in a little bit more quiet and rural place. Another couple bought themselves a mountain rental within 3 months of landing here. And this doesn't even touch on all the new hobbies my clients share with me that they've taken up within a few weeks of getting their feet grounded and their jobs under their belts. Most people are coming here for the way of life and they dive in whole hog, maybe even more than people who have lived here for a really long time. I find that a lot of the transplants are really intentional about their choice to be here and are leveraging every bit of what Colorado has to offer and are so excited, so intentional, so passionate and engaged. So it's a great way to meet new people. If you're coming in new and you don't know anybody, finding your hobby, your interest, your passion, and doing that in somewhat of a group setting will get you really connected really quickly. Number 6, that outdoor time is often followed up by time at a brewery with great food and good brews. Colorado has long held the title as the #1 place for craft brews in the US. Now, there are so many cities with great craft breweries that I don't even know who could possibly hold the title anymore, but Colorado has more than 140 craft breweries statewide. So any city, any town, any road trip, you're gonna have some good options. And following up any outing with food and beer is generally the event of choice. Number 7, always staying on the cutting edge. First craft brews, then legalized marijuana. With Colorado being the first to legalize recreational marijuana, there have been many different impacts locally here after that decision. The biggest impact has obviously been economically. Many of the locals do see that there has been a shift in the homeless or unhomed population after the legalization of marijuana. Aside from this, are you going to see any day-to-day impact on your life from the presence of marijuana in Colorado? If it's not your primary interest in coming here, or you're not a user, probably not. Unless when you buy a home and you aren't interested in it, the neighbor next to you, behind you, is a user and chooses to consume their non-edible marijuana in their backyard. That means they're smoking it, and you're gonna be smelling that when they're consuming outside. For some people, that is not pleasant and not what they want. You may or may not get to know that before you buy your home. Sometimes you'll have a chance to figure that out. I have not come across that in any transaction in a single family home setting. I have come across single family homes that smell like the seller is a consumer of marijuana, and that has deterred my buyers from wanting to purchase that home. Also in the downtown area where there are more condos, multifamily attached homes, we see this more often. The pervasive smell of marijuana will pervade from the current unit that the seller has or another homeowner is in and move out into the hallway or other units. And that has also impacted my buyers' decisions. So if you're going to be buying remotely and you don't have any interest in that, make sure you let your agent know. If it doesn't bother you at all, or in the case of some of my buyers, they're coming here specifically for recreational marijuana and it doesn't bother you or interests you, also let your agent know. It will help smooth that process out. Number 8, politically, Colorado is a mixed bag. We are pretty much a purple state. And this has actually been one of the key draws for people from all across the country. And that's surprising for a lot of locals. So many locals used to be that they hated Texans because Texans would come in with big oil money and buy up lots of homes in Colorado. Now, a lot of the locals tell the Californians to stay out because a lot of Californians in tech have quite a bit of money to come in and buy up homes without regard for the current price. They can just bid over substantially. There's always someone that a Coloradan loves to hate, it seems. The thing is, a lot of the Californians I work with are not thrilled with what is going on politically and in the government in their state. They're coming here to find a place that feels very much like home used to feel to them. They want a place that is moderate, feels balanced, and this really fits the bill for them. The climate and weather feels pretty balanced year-round. They can get their skiing in. They feel not too far from home. And they feel like politically the environment mirrors more of what they used to have and want to have. Now, let's go down to Texas, which is usually a lot more conservative than California is. I have a lot of multinationals who end up in Texas working in tech or other industries and find that that environment is not jiving with them, and they're wanting something that's more moderate, and they end up here too. So all across the board, any city, any lifestyle, we really attract a very diverse population because of the fact that Colorado leans more toward the middle of the road and pleasing more people than not. Sometimes folks share their political bent with me, ask me where they should live. They think one city might be too conservative, one city might be too liberal. I'm not allowed to tell people what might be their fit, but honestly, anywhere from Fort Collins down to Colorado Springs that fits this Denver metro area. You can commute into Denver from nearly any of those locations. You're gonna fit. It doesn't matter what you like, love, hate. There are people across the whole spectrum in all of those cities. So if you find one that you love that's a good fit for you, you're gonna do fine. Our culture here is very live and let live. People here just prefer you don't be well, let's just say they prefer you don't be rude. And so that takes us to number 9. The people here are friendly. Colorado is consistently ranked one of the top 10 most friendly states. What I hear from my clients who've moved here and are getting settled in is that they really find people are intensely friendly, like meaningful friendly. They want to get to know you. They hope that you're settling in well. The coworkers are friendly. They want to make sure you're connected. And when they find a connecting point, whether it's a hobby, a life stage, an interest, they really desire to build a friendship with you. People are open to new friends. That's not across the board. Everyone's going to run into a person they wish they hadn't met. But on the whole, they find that people are genuinely friendly. One of my clients had a horrible story. They'd been here like 3 or 4 days, tire blew out on their car, infant in the back seat, person pulls over to help them. My client had California plates. The person who pulls over did jab at them about being from California, which made my client so sad. However, this person still stopped to help, got the tire changed, made sure they were safe. And my client said in California, no one would have stopped, no one would have cared, even though she was a young woman, even if she had taken her toddler out of the car, everyone would have kept driving by. And she said, even though this older person made the comment or the jab about being from California, they still kindly took the time to make sure that she was safe, changed the tire, got her on her way. And she's continued to see such kindness from everyone. And that's really how it is here. I think the only exception to the rule goes back to number 4, traffic. It's every man for himself on the road. Be bold, drive with the flow, and then you'll be fine. Number 10 of things to know, that Mountain View is going to cost you. Everyone that I talk to when they're telling me about what they want in a home in Colorado includes a mountain view. Now, for some people, they understand that that's on their wish list, nice to have if I could, but I have yet to have someone tell me they don't want a mountain view. And for some people, it comes in as an essential initially. Maybe they're leaving a place that they loved. They had a larger lot, they had trees. They might have been coming from the perfect place, space, trees, maybe their own view of the mountains, and they're downsizing, getting here to Colorado because maybe they just didn't love the weather where they were, or they're coming to be near grandkids. And the only thing that makes it perfect is to have the mountain view. Well, let me tell you, it's gonna cost upwards of $150,000 for your average size, mid-size, single family home to have a clear-cut, unobstructed, stunning mountain view. And that's right now in this market in 2022. The bigger the home, the more custom the home, the nicer the lot, the better the neighborhood, the more expensive that mountain view gets. And on the other side, if you're in a townhome or a smaller home and the view is maybe not so stunning, then it's gonna cost you a little bit less. But if you're looking for a mid-size single family home and you've got to have a great mountain view, tack on a good $150,000 to a comparable home sale price, and then you're probably getting close. So if budget is not your primary concern, get the mountain view. Who doesn't want one? And what do we know about real estate? It's all about location, location, location. When you go to resell that home, if you do, your mountain view is still going to bring you a return of value. If budget is a key driver in the selection of your home and you need space, or you need your home to be move-in ready, or you need a certain commute time to your office, you may want to consider how you could enjoy the mountain views that Colorado offers in other ways. On your commute, while you're walking your neighborhood, when you're out enjoying the outdoors and activities with friends. Save that money and put it toward other things. Plus, you may end up with a peekaboo mountain view you didn't expect or know about. It could be from a bedroom window, could be from your deck on the side. You may get some perks that you weren't expecting while saving a good chunk of that money and putting it toward your home in another way. Bonus tip, you're probably gonna fall in love with Colorado. Yes, we have sports teams. Yes, we have a great downtown area, not just in Denver, in Boulder, in Fort Collins, in our smaller downtowns like Castle Rock and Littleton. Colorado Springs has a lot to offer too when you venture that way. And we didn't even mention the ski towns and how wonderful, romantic, and fun those are. But that's not what I'm talking about. It's more of the blooming crab apples in spring that turn everything pink and white. It's watching a fresh snowfall and then having dry roads and warm temps the next day. It's enjoying blazing sunrises and sunsets full of color that reflect off the mountains. It's the awesome July hot summer days that turn into cool evenings where you walk the streets, hang out and barbecue, throw bags of cornhole with friends, and enjoying every glimpse of each mountain view that you get, whether it's driving to work, walking in your neighborhood, or hiking a gorgeous trail. Just like life is made up of small moments, your love for Colorado will grow in those small moments too. As you're thinking about moving to Colorado, know that we would love to connect with you. Feel free to reach out anytime in any way that works for you. Hey, we will see y'all next week.